Welcome to the Darkstream. VoxDay, voxday.blogspot.com, coming to you from Twitter jail. If you're on Twitter, I would appreciate it if you would retweet this, because it's not going to really go out to anyone that would normally get it from my Twitter account, because I'm in Twitter jail for, I think, 5 more days, something like that. And yet, they can't stop the signal. They have not stopped the signal. Day 3 of the Daily Meme Wars was even more successful than the first 2. So thanks for that. We're seeing 150 people join in, 150 more people join in every day. And so that's pretty exciting. This Russia thing is really getting to be kind of funny, because people are pushing it like crazy. People are pushing this stuff, and it just doesn't even make any sense. I mean, you read this stuff, and you look at this Russian lawyer. We knew it was BS right away. I mean, that was what the first Daily Meme Wars meme was about. So it's whether it was a plant or not is almost irrelevant. It simply shows that there's no there, and the media is trying to create this false narrative out of nothing. On my blog right now, I mean, you probably won't even remember this. Most of you won't remember this. The Russian server thing. Well, that's turned out to be bullshit too. And not only that, but it looks like Weaponized Autism actually identified the woman, Tea Leaves, who was the academic scientist behind the whole thing, who was pushing the whole thing. And it was kind of funny, I wasn't involved in any of this. I don't pay any attention to DNS servers. I always thought that the Russian server story was complete bullshit, so I paid no attention to it. I didn't even look at it. But what struck me, as I put on the blog, was I was reading the notes that this person, this academic scientist, this technology academic scientist, had written. And I read it and I was thinking, that's a woman. I'm an editor. I know what people's styles are. It's not foolproof. But as I was reading it, I was thinking, this is a woman. Well, it can't be too hard to find a woman scientist who's messing around in these kind of fields. And then I read down a little further, and it turned out that Tea Leaves, reading the tea leaves, I can see that. But it was really interesting to see that it turned out it was indeed a woman. I did not assume her gender. I suppose that it is sexist, because she could be a piranha or a flying fish or any one of the other 57 genders that I don't even know what they are. So, my apologies to anyone who happens to be a attack helicopter or a flying fish or whatever you are. I'm sorry, I don't know what they are, and frankly, I don't have the time to keep up with it. Because by the time you actually can memorize all 57, they're going to change it to like 63 or something. It's kind of like, here's a deep insight for you. Today's deep insight. SJWs are like financial services companies. They live on the churn. They are not actually trying to do anything. Just like the investment company doesn't care whether the investment you make makes money or loses money. All they really care about is the commission that they get because you did a transaction. And so the SJW doesn't really care if you buy it or you don't. In fact, he prefers if you don't buy it, because then there's more drama that he can feed on. But SJWs, like financial services companies, they're all about the churn. Anyhow, back to Russia. I think the key thing to do for the Trump administration is just to basically blow this stuff off. You know, it's not important. Donald Trump Jr. did the right thing by releasing the emails, preventing the media from being able to say, oh, we discovered this, and asking about it and all that sort of thing. Just throwing it all out there and saying, hey, look, here you go. Make what you will of it. You know, because what's killing them, and this is why it's smart for the Trump administration to not try to keep things to itself. The best way for them to utilize their allies at poll, in the chans, online, etc. You know, their best allies are not in the White House. You know, half of those people can't be trusted and are on the other side. But once the stuff starts coming out, right? Once this, look what happened as soon as this lawyer's identity was known. Suddenly, there's pictures of her with the Obama administration officials. There's pictures of her with John McCain. You know, they're going to come out with, I mean, you know, Poll is already on it. Anonymous is already on it. WikiLeaks is already on it. I mean, if this woman hasn't kept her nose completely clean and completely outside of Republican and Democratic politics, it's going to be found. And it's going to be all over the place. And it's going to completely destroy the narrative. Because, of course, Donald Trump Jr. is not a politician. He wasn't part of the official campaign staff. He can do whatever he wants. You know, and that's why they know there's nothing there. Most of these people know there's nothing there. I did a link to a very, very stupid Meghan McArdle column, which is kind of saying something, because, you know, most of Meghan McArdle's columns are pretty dumb. But she really outdid herself by basically saying, well, I don't really understand what the relevant laws are, and, you know, maybe it's illegal and maybe it's not, but, you know, regardless, it was wrong. And therefore, this is a big deal. Well, no. If you don't know it's wrong, then you can't say it's a big deal. And if it wasn't illegal, it wasn't wrong. So, you know, I think it was Van Jones that said the whole thing was just basically a big nothing burger. I don't really like that term much. It tends to strike me as the sort of thing that, you know, snarky midwits say. But the point is that there isn't anything there. And so, and I actually think it's good. If this is what they have nothing. You know, they're people in airport bars are being misinformed. It's true. Nobody cares. You know, what has this done to Trump's popularity ratings? Nothing. Well, legal is the arbiter of right and wrong when you're talking about politics. You know, that, I mean, like it or not, that's the way it is now. You know, but the main thing is Donald Trump Jr. is not Donald Trump. He can embarrass his dad. Theoretically, he hasn't, but he could. But it's not relevant. It doesn't matter. He wasn't working at the Trump Foundation. And so, anyhow, you know, that's just something that needs to be kept in mind. So, there's no president that is ever going to be impeached or anything else because of his son's actions, especially when they were not, you know, on his behalf directed by him, etc., etc. So, anyhow, it's good that the media is spinning its wheels on this stuff. Hopefully, the Trump administration is not. Hopefully, the Trump administration is not getting distracted by this. I tend to doubt it, given how good the God Emperor is at keeping the media cycle spinning while going off and doing something else. If you notice, and this is what concerns me, North Korea has almost completely disappeared from the news, and so, I'm still not convinced that nothing is going on there. So, anyhow, that's all I had tonight. Just a short one, but we'll be back soon. Check out Daily Meme Wars. Please feel free to sign up if you want to take part in it. We've had some good ones out there. We've got some good ones coming in. And so have a good evening, and we will see you soon.